Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear student, welcome to Finance and Banking class. I am Nasir Farooq, lecturer at Greenfield School and College. Today, I am going to take a special class and take a new chapters in Finance and Banking for the student of class 9 and class 10. The chapter name is Finance and Business Finance. This is first chapters in finance and banking books. This is most important chapters for the student of class 9 and class 10. Basically, a business related students, this chapters is very important. From these chapters, I would like to describe some important topics. First, finance, a definition of finance, classifications, and then second, most important topics, classification of finance. Basically, finance related the business finance, but we have to know another classifications of finance so that we can easily understand and we can easily find out the different kinds of finance. The classification of finance, there are some classifications of finance. First is family finance. This is most important finance. The second important topics is public finance. The third important topics is international finance, and last one important topics is business finance. Basically, finance and banking subjects involved in business finance. Today, inshallah, I am describing these important topics, and hopefully if you understand, if you careful in these lessons, you will be able to understand these topics. At first, finance, you have to know what is finance and classification of finance or business finance. Finance basically not only in express in a words. Finance basically is at first every man and every persons when success in a work, they have at first they have to make a plan, and according to plan he or she collected money from legal sources. After that times he utilizations of those money, use those money in the proper way, and control is called finance. So when a businessman or when a person's employed in a work or success in a work, at first he make a proper planning. Without planning, a man or anyone cannot possible to success in a work. That's why at first he or she should be make a proper plan, then collected money according to plan, then collected money, because we know that without money a man or a woman cannot possible to success in a business or success in a plan. Without plan a man cannot success in any work, any jobs. That's why money and plan, they are one and another's dependent. Without one part and another part doesn't success. That's why finance basically according to plan. Just 4 elements you should be remembered, that you can easily say the definitions of finance. At first, according to plan, then collected money from a legal sources. After that time the utilizations of those monies in various different sectors and control those monies is called finance. So dear student, I hope you will be understand the definitions of finance. So finally, definitions of finance is when a financial managers to make a plan that collected money from legal sources and utilizations of those monies and control is called finance. So dear student, I hope you will be understand the definitions of finance. Now I would like to describe the classification of finance. There are some classification of finance. Basically finance are involved in the business, but uh, we know that every organization is involved with a financial process take different form for different organizations. Now we will discuss classifications of this finance. Thought our main concentration is business finance. We'll also get a brief idea of the financial process of some other organizations. The first important classification of the first important elements of classification of finance is family finance. This is most important because of we are all of the people live in their families and they need some money to expense or they to run their daily lives, daily activities. That's why family finance. In family finance, uh, the sources and amount of income of the family are identified and how this income can be utilized for the overall welfare of the family's member is determined. Among in numerous necessities expenditures, the most important expenditure are fulfilled on priority basis. If family income is not sufficient, loan can be taken from the relatives, familiar persons or friends. Regular expenditure are determined by considering the regular incomes. Bank loan can be arranged for fixed assets like television, fridge, car, buildings, constructions. But as the collections fund is limited, it needs proper utilizations. If collected money is excess, I mean when the family member's income is greater than his expense, then some amount they will be saved in a financial institution or bank or insurance companies. This is the basically finance family finance. Finance at first they find out the sources of incomes according to their incomes their expense in priority basis. I mean because of their income is limited, in limited incomes they lead their lives according to their incomes. That's why they selected the priority basis. After that they selected another priority basis. This is the family finance. The second most important topics is public finance. This is most important topics because a creative or many MCQ is given in the SSC exams from these topics. For these reasons, students should be careful this public finance. Here, the basically public finance. Every government has its own financial management. In the case of government, how much on which areas will be the probably yearly expenditures on the government and how that money can be arranged from which sources are discussed in the public finance. We know that government a lot of money is expenditures in different sources. Just like so government has to spend a lot of money for overall development of the country in various sectors such as roads, bridges, government education institutions, government hospitals, law and orders, uh, defense, social infrastructures. Its government collect money, uh, By making these expenditures, also government collects money to bear those expenses from uh, uh, so sorry the government collects money to bear those expense from different sources like income tax, VAT, gift tax, import customs, export customs, saving certificates, price bonds, treasury bill. It's so, dear student, I hope you will understand. Some creative questions, some MCQ questions is given. The whole sources government collected money, and uh, whole sources government expenditures, or some. Please write some sources, whose expenditures in government or public finance. So you remember, government collected money from different sources, just like of income tax, VAT, gift tax, import customs, export customs, saving certificates, price bonds, treasury bill. It's so in public finance, first the amount of expenditures is determined and the fund is collected according to the needs. This is most important topics. We know that family finance at first they find out the sources of finance, then expense. But in public finance there are opposite relations. In family finance, public finance at first they determine the expenditures, then fund collected from the legal sources. This is most important topics. Another important topics, the main object of public finance is social welfare. This is most important topics for MCQ or multiple questions for the student of class 9 and class 10. So this is you remember, I read it again. The main object of public finance is social welfare. Social welfare. Public finance is usually non-profitable. This is most important topics because public finance basically try to welfare of the societies and development of the countries. So they are not object to make profit. They are not object to make profit maximizing. They also try to welfare of the societies and not profitable organizations. Expenditures may be greater than incomes in public finance. I mean, public finance's expenses more than his incomes. This is the character of public finance. There exists a number of business organizations under government ownerships, just likes of B6. B6 is chemical industries. This is most important topics. Otherwise, in total amount of money to be collected from government budgets, on many occasions financial crisis, I mean when government faced financial crisis may occur to the government due to the public expenditures for social and state securities. For that reasons, many times the government collects foreign loan from the organizations like ADB. ADB is an financial organization who is involved, who is invest in many countries to welfare or development of the societies and development of the country sectors. By these reasons, when government face crisis, financial crisis, they collected money from foreign sectors, foreign finance institution sectors, just like so ADB. ADB is financial institutions who is sanctioning loan a lower rate of interest rates. ADB is the total meaning of ADB is called Asian Development Bank. It's also sanctioning loan the selected countries who is including in Asian countries. We know that Asian countries, there are some they are the big area of the whole world. The another important sources, another sources is World Banks. World Banks, this is this bank is sanctioning loan whole world of the years, who is include under the United Nations. And IDB is most important sources to collected finance, collected money. uh, IDB, the full form of IDB is Islamic Developing Bank. It's also sanctioning loan the uh, Islamic oriented countries. So dear student, I hope you will understand about the public finance. Public finance is most important. The another important topics is PPP. MCQ questions also given. What is the full form of PPP? Here the PPP is called public private partnerships. I mean, when the government and the general peoples involved in a institutions or invest money find out or to established in a business, established in a organizations, it's called PPP. Dear student, I hope you will understand the public about the public finance. So most important questions from these chapters or from these topics: what is public finance, what is write some the sources of some expenditures, sources of public finance, some sources who is collected money or incomes, the public finance, the main object of public finance, government when at first what are the doing the governments when government crisis in fund or finance, then whose sources they collected monies. Just likes of questions is given from these topics. So students should be remember this important topics and read these topics many times, because of this is most important topics for the student of class 9 and class 10. So dear student, the at first I have described the family finance, then I described the public finance. The third most important topics is international finance. Now I would like to describe the international finance. You know that an international finance export and imports. At first we have to know what is export and what is imports. When our countries sell some product in the foreign countries, it's called export. The alternatively, when we buy some product from the other countries, then it's called exports. Or when we provided some product from other countries, is called imports. When we sell some product in foreign countries, it's called exports. So in international finance, export and import sector are discussed and analyzed. Bangladesh is mainly an import oriented country because of a lot of things, a lot of product are imported from the other countries, but a few product are export in other countries or in foreign countries. That's why Bangladesh, this is most important topics, Bangladesh is mainly an imported or import oriented country. Every year huge amount of food stuff, raw materials, machinery, machines, petroleums, eats are imported from different countries. This is most important topics. On the other hand, jute and jute product, just likes of garments, ready-made garments, agriculture's products are being exported. Trade deficiency of a huge amount of occurs as the volume of import is greater. Because of trade deficiency basically created when import is greater than the exports, then create the trade deficiency. This is most important topics. Basically a questions, a 2 marks and 1 marks questions is given. What is trade deficiency? So the answer of trade deficiency is when export or when import is greater than the export, then create the trade deficiency. So trade deficiency of large amount occurs as the volume of import is greater than the volume of exports. This trade deficiencies make up, this is most important topics, when trade deficiencies make up, or which sources make up or fulfill the trade deficiencies. Basically, remittance sent by the foreign dollars plays a vital role to compensate these deficiencies. This is most important topics. What is remittance? Creative questions or a 2-mark questions also given. The what is remittance? Then you also answer the questions. Remittance, this is the sources of finance who is sent by the foreign dwellers or foreign peoples. Dwellers plays a vital role to compensate this deficiency. This is the main important topics. The international finance cover discussions about export and import sectors and the way of management to compensate the trade deficiency. So I hope all of the student you'll be understand the about the trade deficiency or about the international finance. Now I would like to describe the business finance. This is most important topics. The basically finance and business finance are same related, just difference. Finance, there are different kinds of finance, but business finance, we know that every organizations or every business organizations, the main object of business organizations to make profit. That's why to run their business or to make profits, when a business managers make plan or make plans, and according to plan they collected money from legal sources, and utilizations of this monies and control, it's called business finance. Or to make profits, when a financial managers operations the many activities in a organizations, it's called business finance. The basic purpose of a business finance to make profits. So the most important types of finance is business finance, and organizations from with the purpose of earning profits. I am also said that it's there are 3 kinds of business. We know that sole proprietorships business, partnership business, and joint capital business organizations. Sole proprietorship business, it's running its activities involved in within one person's. The profit or loss are take or the benefits of these profits also take in one person's, and loss also take the one person's. The partnership business, who is involved the some persons they are involved the same amount of investment, and they also participate the loss and profits. The joint capital business, this is most important topics. Joint capital business, there are 2 kinds of the private limited companies and public limited companies. Joint capital business, the finance basically the collected money from by selling their share in the shareholders or in the share markets. So dear student, I hope you will be understand the about the business finance. This is most important topics.